First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. We are live streaming here through the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're on the Fox 12 YouTube channel. We're at kptv.com under the Fox 12 Now tab, and of course on the Fox 12 Oregon app. So lots of places to find the show live, but also watch all the segments afterward. And we do cover a wide range of topics. Today, we are talking about the Native Theater Project, an incredible organization that's national, but based right here in the Portland metro area. And joining us right now, we have Jeanette Harrison and Laura John from Native Theater Project. And thank you to both of you for joining us here today. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to talk to you about this touring side of things and everything that you're doing in that aspect, but also just learn more with everybody else about the Native Theater Project and what it is. And maybe to start off, could you give us a little bit of the background of it and explain, for anybody who doesn't know what the organization does?
Sure. I'm happy to start us off and chat a little bit about how we got started. My name's Jeanette Harrison, and I'm Onondaga. And it's always been a passion of mine to make sure that my professional work includes Native stories. Throughout my career, like maybe about 30% of my work has been with Native communities, Native artists. I had the great privilege of going to Broadway last year with Larissa Fasthorse on the Thanksgiving play. And so I moved here to Portland pretty recently, but it felt like maybe the reason that I was here is because the Native community here is so strong. So bringing those national ties that I have to theater makers and connecting that with local Native artists here. There's so many amazing Native organizations in Portland that have been doing work in the artistic community for a very long time, but not so much with the performing arts. So it's about expanding that. And then one of the things nationally that we really lack in the Native theater community is a place to really develop new plays by Native artists. The truth is that, Native communities are very spread out, and so it's a little challenging to have so much work that's being done that doesn't really have enough artists in one place to do it. It becomes very expensive. So that's what we're hoping to do. That's why we're rooting it here in Portland. There's so many Native artists here, like Laura John, and convincing them to add theater to their portfolio of work that they do is really exciting to me.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely, just adding to that. And I think that's really cool, bringing your experiences from elsewhere here as well to help foster that and keep that going. And Laura, I would love to hear, about your story as well and how you got into this and how you got into the Native Theater Project.
Thanks for having us today. My name's Laura John. I'm Blackfeet in Seneca. I was born and raised here in Portland. The invitation to be a part of this production sort of came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. I was at a art exhibit opening and had met Jeanette the year prior. I was really excited to hear about what she was doing and helped her make some connections in the community. And after seeing her, she gave me a call and said, "Hey, would you be willing to read for this play?" And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. And I decided to give it a try and ended up being cast in the production. It's been amazing to be a part of this. I have to say, acting, being involved in the theater is something that I haven't done for years and years. I've been really immersed in advocacy work for 20 plus years. When I was a kid, I took theater classes at the Interstate Firehouse Cultural Center over on Interstate. That was my neighborhood that I grew up in, and loved it. It was a great way to get my energy out and learn public speaking. So I had some background in it and have been involved in some other productions, but really on the periphery. So having the opportunity to come and actually be on the stage, embodying one of the characters has been amazing. I just have loved the work. It's such an amazing story. And to be able to work with the other cast members and with Jeanette as the director and some of the other folks on the crew has just been, it's been a real real amazing opportunity.
And we're
Go ahead, Jeanette.
I was just going to say, we're so lucky to have Laura because she really downplays her role in this. But her character could so easily have been the villain of the piece. And yet Laura brings so much heart and so much passion to the role and to the work and to the perspective of this particular character in this world. It's just like you see how much she cares about the girls and how much her own background has just made it so that it's just hard. It's just hard.
Could you tell us just a little bit about the synopsis of this particular performance?
Go ahead, Jeanette.
So the play follows 4 teenage girls. They're high school seniors, and they are residents of a modern day boarding school. And the way in which this boarding school is different from a lot of what we hear about boarding schools and their traumatic past for Native communities and generations of Native children is that our girls are being taught their language and their culture. And so they are part of a traditional song and dance group. And they get invited to perform at the 2002 Winter Olympics. The show is set in winter of 2001, 2002. So the girls are excited. They're practicing their songs. They're learning their language. They're trying to become more fluent. They're struggling with it. And then something happens where they get into some trouble and their opportunity to go to the Olympics is jeopardized. So they leap into action in typical teenage girl, not necessarily thinking it through very well. They try to get their teacher fired, who's threatening to take away the funding. And, all sorts of fun ensues from there. I think the real beauty of this play, though, is that Blossom Johnson, the playwright, has done this amazing job of creating this story of Native joy and celebrating Native girls, while also really being true to the ghosts and the history that underlay this entire story. I think it's an amazingly crafted play, and I think Laura and the rest of the cast is doing an amazing job with it. It's so much fun.
I mean, it sounds like you're covering so many bases right there too, with this, and at the end, so much fun, as you just said. And Laura, for you, I was going to ask you, being Native here from the Portland area, how important do you think it is to have an outlet and something like the Native Theater Project here in the area for everyone to get involved in?
Oh, it's very important. It's rare that Portlanders get an opportunity to see a story like this. The beauty of this story is that it's written from a Native perspective. You have Native cast members bringing life to the characters. And this particular story about boarding schools is really important right now. There's been a lot of I think, more public education that's coming out about boarding schools, the history of them, the history of the cultural genocide that took place. And this particular play captures that. It captures what boarding schools were in the past, how it impacted people, as well as other systems, how there was that attempt to take away our culture, take away our language, and what that does to an individual when they go into their life with that mindset that their culture, their language is not okay, it's not good enough. It's not white enough. And what that looks like when it plays out within Native community. For Portland, we have such a beautiful, thriving Native community here. We have, this is a hub. It's a hub for so many things. And it's becoming a hub for arts, which I think is beautiful. And that needs to happen more. The opportunity for Portlanders to come and listen to this story and sit and see what this looks like from a Native perspective. One of the things that I really appreciate about Blossom's writing is that she takes this this topic that is can be dark, that has that history of abuse, of marginalization, of supremacy, and she tells the story in a way that captures what we all know in our communities as Native humor, right? As Native people, we use humor to get through tough times. And that's absolutely part of this story. And I think that there are times when the audience is not quite sure, should I laugh at that? But that's who we are as Native people. That's one of our strengths in tough times, is to make light of things. So that really comes through. So I think it's an opportunity for Portlanders who are non-Native to come and see what our community looks like inside. For Native folks that are coming to see the show, it's seeing themselves on the stage. It's seeing characters like, oh, I have an auntie like that, or I have a niece like that, and being able to really feel that they see themselves. And that's not always an opportunity that folks have. So I hope that this work continues and that Portland gets an opportunity to see more Native plays. It's a great way to have some education in a really fun way.
I love all that you just said. I mean, an experience for everybody, no matter who it is coming, whether you're Native or you're non-Native. And if you're non-Native, getting some exposure to that, something that probably, they maybe haven't seen before, and even learning to understand the humor that you just said right there. If you're not sure whether to laugh or not, but you're learning about it at the same time. I mean, that's so important all around. And, something else going to this particular performance, I know that it is now touring, right? Jeanette, would you mind just explaining a little bit of that too? Because this is now moving around to some different places.
Sure. We started out in Hillsboro, Oregon at Bag and Baggage Productions under the artistic directorship of Nick Whitcomb, who's just an amazing visionary leader. Hillsboro is so lucky to have him. So we had 2 weeks there. And now this week, all of our set pieces, all of our costume pieces are in a truck and they are on their way. We're going to drive them over to Naya Family Center in Northeast Portland in the Kelly District. And so we'll set up on Thursday. We'll space the show, just a little bit of tweaking here and there, and then we'll put it on for performances at Naya this Friday, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and then our final show at Naya is Sunday at 2 p.m. And then on October 6th, I think that's Sunday, we pack it all back up into a truck and then we unload it at Portland State on Monday. And we set it up on Wednesday night. And then we have our first show at Portland State's Native American Student and Community Center, Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening at 7:30, and then Sunday at 2 p.m. And then we're already getting offers and invitations to tour it all around the country. So it's like, how do we make this work? We need more money. We need more logistics. But the demand, what's really exciting is that this story is touching people, Native people and non-Native people. And we're really seeing people hungry for this kind of content. And the fact that it's originating here in Portland is just really special. And, you touched on about Native and non-Native audiences. People ask me sometimes, do you think non-Native people will like it? Will be able to relate? And I'm like, if they've ever been a teenager and they had dreams of the future, they can relate to our girls.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, they may make some decisions that are not the smartest. And that sounds like something anybody who has been a teenager can relate to.
Definitely.
Well, so plenty of opportunities there for everybody to go see this, and especially see now before you are touring all over the country when you are here in Portland. But I know there's another thing that's coming up on the 12th, and Lori, if you're there, feel free to jump in now. We'll bring Lori on here. And could you tell us about this other thing coming up on the 12th? Oh, I think your audio is muted. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm part of the cast and also the cultural and language consultant for the production, and volunteering as the coordinating our vendors and helping Jeanette and the team with some logistics for the 12th. So the 12th, we're hosting an event. I guess, Jeanette, you want to go ahead and give the overall view, and I'll talk a little bit about who's invited?
Sure. The overall event is called We Are Sacred, an Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. And it got started because we were shocked to learn that there was nothing happening for Indigenous Peoples Day at Portland State while we were in residence. So we were like, well, let's celebrate Native arts and let's invite people from multiple disciplines to come and play with us. So we're gonna end the night with our evening performance of Jeanette, I Am a Sacred Being, or boarding school play, which is Blossom Johnson's play that we've been talking about. And then before that, we're going to have live music with Blue Flames, also known, which is the name for Scott Kalama, who is this amazing Warm Springs rapper who is got this very positive message about he's just a genius. Like, really, he's a Fields Fellow this year. You really have to hear him to see him. Isn't he amazing?
Yeah, he's great.
So great. So he's going to come out. He's going to perform for us, and then we also have the vendors, which Lori can share more about.
Yeah, so we've got about 13 vendors that we're hoping to pull together, and they range from folks who have, and these are all Native entrepreneurs. So they have businesses that, smoke salmon, businesses all the way to beautiful traditional arts, beaded goods, and pop art. So we've got a wide variety of artists that are busy out there doing the work. A lot of them are, this is their world, this is their livelihood. So it's really neat. I think when we think about vendors, the event is to celebrate the resiliency and the cultural traditions that our Indigenous communities still, cling to as our livelihood and our identity, and how, we're trying to infuse that in our young people so that they hold tight to their identity and know who they are, where they come from. So to see all of these businesses pop up, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, I'm from New Mexico, lived in Oregon for a time. I've not seen the volume of bona fide business vendors that I have being in Oregon anywhere else. So it's really nice to be able to create space where those vendors can be showcased and their artwork or their businesses can be showcased. So a lot of them are based in traditional, knowledge, traditional practices, arts, and knowledge.
So, I mean, that's incredible. And, again, something else that somebody can go to and get to experience all of that, see that, be a part of that, and just like with the performances as well. So a lot of great opportunities there for everyone. I appreciate all three of you for joining us here today, too, to talk about all of this. And I just want to reiterate for everybody out there, too, if they want to learn more about either the performance or the event on the 12th, what's the best place for them to go to follow up with this now that they've learned a little bit, but if they want to learn more and be able to participate?
Well, certainly follow us on social media, Native Theater Project, on Instagram and Facebook. And the website is bagandbaggage.org.
Bagandbaggage.org. So there we go. Go there and check that out. Well, Lori, Jeanette, thank you very much for being here today. I really appreciate you joining the show. For everybody watching, this is Fox 12 Now. We're live here every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We've got something coming up right at 2 p.m. So we're going to take a break and reset for just a minute, and then I'll be back with the Oregon Humane Society talking about some things they have going on. So whatever platform you're on, you can come right back here. But to all three of you, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And thanks, everybody. We'll sign off for now. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.